Hello, YouTube pipers. Double O Pipe here, aka Rick. Once again, with my Savinelli, Bing's favorite, packed with Carter Hall. And my brown beverage. Wanted to show you, if you can see over there on the door, that is my Pipe Week Award. Favorite storyteller. Double O Pipe. I got that in the mail the other day. I was right proud. Oh, me. Wasn't expecting that, to be truthful. I do like the Carter Hall. It's just mild enough for me. That's all I need. Something that smokes nice and tastes mild. I don't need anything fancy. When's Smoke Ring Day coming up? A week. Lost my touch. Hope everybody's doing fine. I just watched Smarty Bob. I really love that name. Who was also smoking a brand new tub of Carter Hall. And he was saying how wonderful that smelled. Now I jarred mine up as soon as I got it. This was back 3/22/23. And that aroma still stays with it. I have to say that my clothes don't smell anything like somebody that smokes cigarettes. It has this, which has a fragrance to it, almost like an aftershave, but it's different and it's better. It's a manly pipe smoker's aroma. Oh. Y'all saying, well, what in the heck are you getting on here for? You're just rambling. Well, you know, I ramble sometimes. It's Friday. And I just felt like getting on it. It's even earlier than I normally do it. I just was raring to go for some reason. I watched a movie this morning called Toll Booth. I love dry humor, and especially English dry humor. And it looks like Welsh dry humor is even better. I laughed. I don't know that everybody would get the humor, but I sure did. I loved it. Thought, what a great movie this is. Quiet, deadpan, dry. My kind of humor. Well, lately, I've been getting up and after going through my Bible verses, I've been sitting down at a typewriter machine. And I just started typing what comes to my mind. And usually, what comes to my mind, memories from so far back that I don't know how much is real and how much is embossed in that memory tweak back in your mind as you grow older. But I started at the house I remember the most back when I was 5. The house that I always believed was haunted and always unlocked the doors so that I could get out of the house rather than into it at night if I was scared. I don't know how my parents felt about that. But anyway, while I was typing away, up popped this memory. Excuse me. That blasted frog in my throat. Anyway, up popped this memory of my neighbor. There were two kids over there. One a girl, one a boy. The girl's older than the boy. And I'm not sure if the boy was older than me or just less naive. I'm inclined to the latter. But anyway, I was playing in the front yard. Excuse me. Playing in the front yard. And I happened to glance over there. Now, their backyard had oak trees in it that were tall and overbranched like umbrellas, so that their backyard was completely dark. The sun didn't get through it at all. So that here I was playing in the sunlight, and to look over there was like, you know, dark and light. Didn't occur to me until just that moment. Well, I saw him near the fence, and I went over to the fence to see if he wanted to play a little bit. And he looked at me, and he was just a smacking his lips, chewing some bubble gum. And I looked at him, and I thought, wow, bubble gum. Wish I had some bubble gum. And he came over the fence. I don't know if he saw that look in my eye or what I was thinking, but he said, guess what I got? I said, what? He said, Joe Palooka bubble gum. I said, man, I could go for a piece of Joe Palooka bubble gum. And he said, well, I got some extra. I said, are you going to give me some? He said, no, I'm not going to give you any. My mama bought these for me, and if she were to know that I had given some away, she'd be upset with me. She paid good hard money for this bubble gum. He said, I'd be willing to sell you a piece. So I reached into my pocket and pulled out some coins and opened my palm up, and there were 2 pennies and a nickel. He said, now, this is special Joe Palooka bubble gum. It's bigger and it's brand spanking new. I said, what are you talking about? Joe Palooka bubble gum is bubble gum. It's wrapped up in paper and it comes out pink and smells yummy. He said, no, my mama went to the store this morning. She bought this because she saw that it was brand new on the shelf and thought that I might like it. I said, well, what you want for a piece of this special Joe Palooka bubble gum? He said, a nickel. I said, a nickel? I ain't never heard anybody pay a nickel for a piece of bubble gum. It's always a penny. He said, not this. My mama picked it up, but it cost a nickel a piece. I said, well, let me see it. And he pulled it out of his pocket, held it like this, pretty close to the fence. So I reached through the fence and he went, you got to pay me before you get this bubble gum. I'm not going to let you hold it. I said, well, let me see it. He held his hand and held it back. Held that. And yeah, it was bigger, and it was wrapped up in that bubble gum, and the twist at the top was tiny, but that piece of bubble gum was a whopper. So I thought about it in a minute, and I was just drooling because I wanted me a piece of bubble gum. I said, okay, you can have the nickel. And I thought to myself, if I go over to my cousin's house and I'm chewing on bubble gum, they're going to want to have some. My aunt's going to say, you got to bring enough for everybody. So I said, you got 3 more pieces of that special Joe Palooka bubble gum? He said, why you ask? I said, because if I get that and I'm chewing it in front of my cousins, I got to have a piece for each of them, so I'll need 3 more pieces. He said, you got any more money? I said, how much you need? He said, nickel a piece. So I reached into my pocket so that I had 2 pennies and 3 nickels. I said, that's all I got. He said, let me think it over. So he did this number. Tell you what, I'll give you 4 pieces for that 17 cents you got in your hand. And that'll mean you made a deal. You tricked me. I got this smile on my face and I said, that sounds pretty good. You gonna get those pieces there in your pocket? He said, I gotta go in the house and get them. So I said, okay, I'll wait right here. Well, a few minutes later, that screen door slammed and I looked up there and he was jumping off the porch, running over. And he had 3 new pieces in this hand and the 1 piece in this hand. And as he got to the fence, he stopped short and one of them fell on the ground. And I looked at it and the paper was open a little bit and I said, wait a minute. I said, I see that bubble gum inside that wrapper on the ground there. That's not pink. That's not bubble gum. He looked down and he got this look on his face and all of a sudden he smiled. He said, yeah, well, that's the special bubble gum. I said, ain't no bubble gum that's going to be that color. He said, I'm telling you, this is the special Joe Palooka bubble gum. It's bigger and it also has a different color to it. But man, you're going to enjoy this gum. I said, can I hold it? He said, no, not until you pay me for it. I said, I don't know. That just doesn't look like bubble gum to me. He said, okay, your loss. I don't have to sell you my bubble gum. I thought about it and I just really wanted a piece of bubble gum. I said, "You gonna sell me all 4 pieces for 17 cents? Not 20 cents?" He said, "Yeah, you got me." So I got a smile on my face and I said, that sounds like it might be a pretty good deal. So I said, "Well, give me the gum." He said, "You give me the money first." I looked at my money, looked at those huge pieces of gum wrapped up tight. When he picked that one up, he wrapped it up real tight. I said, "Okay, here you go. Here's the money." Dropped it in his hand. He said, "Give me the both hands. It's going to take both hands." And he put them in my hand. I rolled them over and I grabbed one and put the others in my pocket. He said, "One more thing." I said, "What?" He said, "Now it's going to be harder than the regular Joe Palooka bubble gum." I said, "What you mean it's going to be harder?" He said, "It's bigger. It has more taste in the middle." So you're going to have to, I wouldn't advise biting down on it real hard because it's really hard. But once you get it softened up, man, it's the best tasting bubble gum you've ever had. So I said, "Okay, thanks for letting me know." He said, "You're welcome. I just want you to be happy." So I figured I had done a pretty good thing. I had swindled him out of 3 cents and I had 4 pieces of bubble gum. And I ran over to my cousin's house and walked in there and walked Pat through the kitchen and round my cousin, jumped on the bench and slid over. I said, "Guess what I got?" They said, "What you got?" I said, "I got us all some brand new Joe Palooka bubble gum." They said, "What you mean brand new? Joe Palooka doesn't have any brand new bubble gum." I said, "Yeah, this is a special Joe Palooka bubble gum." I unwrapped it, tossed it in my mouth. Cracked on my tooth, hurt like dickens. I thought to myself, he was right. This stuff's hard. And I was trying to bite down on it. I kept finding, and my tongue kept going across sharp edges, and there was a point at one. I was trying to chew down on it. I said, "Here, while I get mine started, y'all go ahead and start on yours." They opened it up. They looked at me. They said, "Ricky," I couldn't talk because I had this big wad of hard bubble gum in my mouth. They said, "Ricky, these are rocks." I said, "Oh, there's a bubble gum." I took it out of my mouth. I said, "It's special. It's just a different color and it's a little harder to chew. But once you get in there, old boy over there says, this is the best tasting bubble gum you ever had." They looked at me, looked at each other, and they just howled laughing. And my aunt was standing in the doorway and she was just shaking her head. She said, "My poor sister, she's going to have to hire somebody to be with you all the time." I said, "You mean this is a rock? You mean I paid 18 cents for 4 rocks?" And they howled more with laughter. I was a pretty stupid kid. And I'll never forget trying to chew down on that granite. I kept saying, "Wait a minute, this ain't no bubble gum, this is a rock." And I kept getting from the other fence, That's Joe Palooka bubblegum, special made. Needless to say, after that particular episode with my next door neighbor, I didn't have a whole lot more to do with him. My parents were worried about me for a while, thinking I was really simple. Maybe I was. I hadn't thought about that in years, and it just all came flowing out when I was typing on a typewriter. Oh, Lordy. Don't believe what the kid next door tells you. Well, on that note, that's pretty much all I had to say. I just found that memory to be really funny. And my cousins did too. They thought I was the dumbest. I was as dumb as those rocks they were holding in their hands. So don't buy your bubble gum secondhand. Buy it straight from the store if you're gonna buy bubble gum. Okay, folks, that's my contribution this Friday. I hope you all have an excellent weekend. I'm not sure, but I think we're going to have some more rain. It's been raining for the last 3 days. Hadn't flooded, though, which is good. So I'm thankful to the Lord for that. So, God bless you all. Take care of yourselves. Till the next time. Bye-bye.